A bunch of workers are working in what seems to be a sort of a cave. Soon, the leader of the workers arrives and asks one of the workers, Eddie, how long this work is going to take. Later, we are introduced to Lloyd Steam, a brilliant but idealistic scientist who dreams of using science and invention to improve humanity. Alongside him is his son, Edward, Eddie Steam, an equally gifted inventor, though far more morally flexible. Unlike his father, Eddie believes that science should not merely serve mankind, but be used to gain ultimate power and control. The two are working together on a groundbreaking project. They've discovered a cave containing an unusual form of pure mineral water, which they believe has the potential to serve as an incredibly powerful energy source, one that could revolutionize steam technology. Their work leads to the creation of a prototype device, a spherical engine capable of harnessing the power of this mineral water. This steam ball is unlike anything seen before, compact, powerful, and capable of fueling machines beyond the imagination of their time. However, during a critical experiment in Russian Alaska, tragedy strikes. Lloyd, blinded by ambition and dismissive of safety warnings, pushes the test forward despite Eddie's objections. The resulting disaster causes the entire lab to explode in a blast of superheated steam, and Eddie is believed to be killed, swallowed by the icy fog. While the experiment succeeds in proving the mineral water's potential, it comes at a devastating cost: the destruction of the laboratory and the loss of Lloyd's son. 3 years later, the story shifts to Manchester, England, where we meet 13-year-old James Ray Steam, Lloyd's grandson and Eddie's son. Ray is a mechanical prodigy in his own right, with a natural talent for tinkering and fixing things. He works as a repair boy, but his life changes dramatically when a mysterious package arrives from his grandfather, Lloyd. Inside is the steam ball, along with Lloyd's research notes and a stern warning. Ray must protect the device at all costs and never allow it to fall into the wrong hands. Soon after, Ray finds himself targeted by agents from the O'Hara Foundation, a powerful and secretive American industrial corporation. The foundation has been funding Eddie's post-accident work and is eager to claim the steam ball to complete their own technological ambitions. Their top enforcer, Archibald Simon, arrives in England alongside two agents, Alfred Smith, a cold, calculating blonde, and Jason, a strong enforcer who lives by a might makes right philosophy. They confront Ray and demand the steam ball, but before they can seize it, Lloyd Steam himself appears. Having survived the explosion, Lloyd reveals a shocking truth to Ray. Eddie is not dead, but very much alive. And worse, he's now working with the O'Hara Foundation. Lloyd insists that the steam ball was responsible for Eddie's apparent death and urges Ray to flee and deliver the device to Robert Stevenson, a trusted engineer and ally. As Lloyd and Ray's mother distract the agents, Ray escapes with the device using his homemade steam-powered unicycle. However, one of the O'Hara men launches a signal flare, revealing Ray's position to a nearby O'Hara convoy. What follows is a high-octane chase through the countryside as a massive steam-powered tractor barrels after Ray. Narrowly escaping, Ray makes it to a railway line and hops aboard a train bound for Manchester. There he receives help from David, an agent of Stevenson, who ushers him to safety and arranges a meeting with Stevenson himself. Stevenson, an established British engineer with deep concerns about the militarization of science, listens carefully to Ray's story. After reviewing the device and the situation, he agrees to help Ray transport the steam ball to the Great Exhibition, where they hope to reveal the truth about the O'Hara Foundation's intentions and preserve the device from falling into the wrong hands. However, the O'Hara Foundation is always one step behind. As Ray's train approaches its destination, a massive airship appears overhead, one of O'Hara's aerial assault crafts. Using a powerful mechanical claw, they tear the roof off Ray's train carriage and seize both him and the steam ball. Ray is taken to London, where the 1866 Great Exhibition is being planned. This is a huge event that shows off the newest technology from around the world. People come from many countries to see machines, inventions, and scientific progress. The O'Hara Foundation has one of the biggest displays at the event. Their most impressive creation is a giant floating fortress, which Ray later finds out was built using his father's research. In London, Ray meets Scarlett O'Hara Street Jones. She is the spoiled granddaughter of Archibald Simon O'Hara, who is the head of the O'Hara Foundation. Scarlett is proud and rich, but she is also curious. She and Ray meet and don't get along at first, but there is something between them. Ray is shocked when he finds out that his father, Eddie, is still alive. Eddie was thought to have died in an accident in Alaska, but now he is working with the O'Hara Foundation. However, Eddie is no longer the same. He is badly injured, with scars all over his body, and he now looks like part human, part machine. Ray learns that the floating fortress, called the Steam Castle, runs on 3 powerful machines called steam balls. One of these had been sent to Ray by his grandfather, Lloyd. All three are needed to power the steam castle. Ray is amazed by the steam castle and his father's dream of using it to improve the world. He decides to help finish the project. As he works on the castle, he also starts a love-hate relationship with Scarlet. Although she is selfish at times, she is drawn to Ray, and they slowly start to understand each other. Meanwhile, Lloyd, Ray's grandfather, had been captured by the O'Hara agents earlier, but he manages to escape using his intelligence and some homemade explosives. After escaping, Lloyd meets Ray and warns him about the truth behind the steam castle. Lloyd tells Ray that the O'Hara Foundation does not want peace. Instead, they plan to sell powerful steam-powered weapons to other countries. The real goal of the Great Exhibition is not to celebrate science. It is to make money by selling machines of war. As the day of the exhibition gets closer, the tension builds. Ray is caught in the middle. He wants to believe in his father and the dream of helping the world, but he starts to see that something is wrong. His father, Eddie, is acting strange. The accident in Alaska seems to have changed him, not just physically, but also mentally. Eddie becomes more obsessed with proving himself as a great scientist and doesn't care much about what might happen because of his inventions. While Ray and Scarlet continue working on the steam castle, they grow closer. Scarlet also begins to see the darker side of the O'Hara Foundation. She starts to understand that what they are doing is wrong. Together, she and Ray try to figure out what to do. When the Great Exhibition finally begins, Ray is excited. The event is grand and full of amazing machines and displays, but when he sees the finished steam castle, he is shocked. The castle is enormous and has many defense systems. It can fly using steam power, and it doesn't need help from the outside to keep running. It is a true wonder of steam technology. The steam castle runs on the incredible power of the 3 steam balls created by Lloyd. These balls have the ability to produce endless energy. Ray, Lloyd's grandson, is fascinated by the castle's complexity, elegance, and beauty, but he soon discovers a troubling truth. The O'Hara Foundation does not want to use the castle to help people or create peace. Instead, they built it as a giant weapon to demonstrate their strength and sell even more war machines to whoever pays the most. Ray is taken to a hidden armory beneath the castle, filled with huge steam-powered war machines. Ray is amazed when he learns these machines were built by his own father, Eddie. He even feels admiration when he sees the steam tractor that had once chased him and destroyed his house. But his grandfather Lloyd warns Ray that science should never be used for war. Lloyd explains that they have no real enemies and encourages Ray to do what is right. Ray feels confused and torn inside. He is not sure who to trust: his father, who wants science for power and war, or his grandfather, who believes science should protect and help others. Ray talks to Scarlet, a girl who understands his struggle. She tells him to follow his heart and choose what feels right to him, even if it means standing against his own father. Ray remains unsure about his decision. He remembers how his grandfather and father used to work together peacefully, but now their relationship is broken. Still, Ray decides to help them reach the center of the castle, where one of the 3 steam balls is stored. Things quickly go wrong. Lloyd is shot in the leg and captured again. Ray thinks fast, grabs the steam ball, jumps from the core area, and escapes from the agents who are chasing him. Ray brings the steam ball to a man named Stevenson, who appears to have good intentions. After testing him briefly to see if Stevenson will use the ball for the right reasons, Ray gives him the steam ball, along with the valuable knowledge he learned while locked away. But soon Ray realizes that Stevenson also has bad intentions. He only wanted to improve his steam-powered tanks, using Ray to get what he wanted. Stevenson is just as bad as the O'Hara Foundation. Ray feels angry and betrayed again. Then the military shows up to arrest Eddie, and things get worse. Fighting breaks out between the O'Hara Foundation and the British government. Eddie responds by launching powerful steam-powered weapons, such as armored soldiers, flying machines, and even submarines. The peaceful Great Exhibition quickly becomes a violent battlefield, filled with explosions, chaos, and fear. Ray finally sees the truth. His father, Eddie, is not the good man he believed him to be. He realizes the steam castle is extremely dangerous and could cause great harm if it falls into the wrong hands. But Eddie is determined to show everyone how strong the castle is. He commands it to rise into the sky. The castle's outer shell suddenly falls off, revealing it is not just a building, it is a giant floating fortress, armed and ready for war. The Royal Navy and Stevenson try desperately to stop the fortress. They fire their weapons at it, but nothing works. The floating fortress is simply too powerful. Ray feels angry and betrayed by Stevenson. Determined to correct his mistake, he quickly decides to reclaim the steam ball. Using parts from a broken steam aircraft, He carefully builds a new flying machine and uses the powerful steam ball to fuel it. He gathers his courage and prepares himself for the dangerous journey ahead. Ray flies back toward the steam castle, determined to stop the disaster. Once inside the control room, he meets his father, Eddie, Scarlett, and his grandfather, Lloyd, once again. Lloyd confronts Eddie, asking him why he is doing all this. Eddie replies that he wanted to use the steam castle to bring peace to the world, but Lloyd tells Eddie that his pride and ambition made him blind to reality. Ray pleads with his father to stop the steam castle before it becomes too late. However, Eddie does not listen to his son's desperate words. He is too focused on power, refusing to hear reason. Scarlett also tries to reach Eddie, appealing to his feelings, but even her words cannot change his mind. Eddie remains trapped by his own ambition. Lloyd makes one last attempt to help Eddie see the truth, but Eddie angrily lashes out at him. Suddenly, in a moment of rage, Lloyd shoots Eddie. A thick cloud of steam immediately fills the room, and Eddie vanishes. Everyone is left shocked and unsure if he survived. At that moment, the steam castle begins to drift dangerously off course. It becomes extremely unstable, rising higher into the sky, threatening to explode directly over the crowded city of London. If this happens, thousands of innocent people could be hurt, and everything could be destroyed. Lloyd and James quickly work to steer the castle away from the city. They try their best to guide it towards the River Thames, hoping it will be safer if something goes wrong. Just then, from the thick cloud of steam, Eddie suddenly returns. The bullet fired by Lloyd did not kill him because his body was protected by strong metal. Realizing at last how dangerous the situation has become, Eddie decides to help. He finally understands his mistakes and wants to correct them. Eddie joins Lloyd and James in their effort to stop the castle. At the same time, Ray works hard to reinstall the stolen steam ball. He bravely climbs back into the castle, desperately searching for a way to shut down the unstable machine. Scarlett follows Ray closely, trying to calm him down, but Ray remains worried. He knows that if they fail to stop the steam castle quickly, the city will be destroyed. After navigating through the complicated machinery, Ray and Scarlett finally reach the control room, finding Eddie and Lloyd already there. Eddie is shocked and relieved to see that Lloyd is still alive. However, Lloyd is still upset, feeling betrayed that Eddie has forgotten everything they once stood for. The steam castle continues to rise higher, and they have very little time left. Ray takes the controls, fighting to bring the massive castle under control. Realizing the seriousness of the situation, Eddie and Lloyd finally put aside their anger and decide to work together again. They all want to prevent the castle from exploding above London. However, the machine becomes even more unstable as it moves over the city. Lloyd and Ray rush to steer it safely toward the Thames. Eddie uses his strength, thanks to his metal body, to help stabilize the castle. Working as a team, they struggle to protect everyone below. Ray successfully places the steam ball back into its proper location to help stabilize the system. Together, they make their way toward the control room to complete their mission. Scarlett stays close to Ray, helping him prepare to escape using an emergency steam-powered jetpack. Once the machine is finally stable enough, Eddie and Lloyd also manage to escape safely, possibly by using a submarine hidden inside the castle. Moments later, the steam castle explodes dramatically, releasing an enormous cloud of frozen steam high above the river. The explosion is so strong and powerful that it causes snow to gently fall over London, covering the city in a peaceful white blanket. The battle is finally over.